So
So
now you graduated, right? How was
mm,
that like for you, and how did that transition into finding a job or landing a job? How can international students land a job after graduation? And so there are going to be two questions here: landing a job and then getting to the PR
yeah, path,
phase
yeah.
in Canada. Because I know one thing that internationals are interested in, why people really want to go to, they are very welcoming, and then it's easy for you to
Mm-hmm.
just graduate and then get into become a PR or something like that. So how is that whole process like?
So okay, so I flipped mine. I got my PR first before I did get
Wow.
my yeah. So what happened was, and this is something that not a lot of people know, is you can actually at the same time apply for your PR while as a student. Now that there are two different, well, I won't say two different ways, but there are so many programs to get into like the PR pool in Canada. But there is a federal skilled work and then there is the Canadian class. So now with the federal skilled work is you can use your experience from anywhere in the world to be able to apply for a permanent residence. And then with the Canadian classes that, oh, you schooled here, you get a job here, and then you apply for your PR. So what I did was I already have had experience from back home. I had experience. I had what's it called? I had schooled in the UK as well. So that kind of helped to kind of increase my points, basically. So what happens is, or the way PR works is that you join a pool, you create a profile, you join a pool, and based off of like your IELTS score, your educational background, your age and stuff, you get a particular score. Now, when I joined the pool and I created my profile, I saw that, oh, my score was great. So I decided, why don't I try? But what's the worst that can happen, really? So I wrote my IELTS here. I got like my score. I created my profile, and then when I got like a really good score. I was like, okay, so I'm going to try and apply. So when I did put in my profile, I submitted. I got called. Because what happens is that you join a pool, and then every month they do this what's it called? They do a draw. I think previously before Corona, it was twice a month, and then they do a draw, and then they invite people beyond a particular score, and then my score got in. I got called to apply
What
as an
was your
American.
score? Is there like a range that people need to have before they know what the right?
So my score was 475, and then for the month I got called, it was the cutoff mark was 470. So right now, yeah, so right now the range is it fluctuates. It really fluctuates. As of 2019, there was 450, 460, for something, but now right now it's ranging 470 and 460, 470, that's the range. So basically, that's what it is. So the more years of experience you have, the higher your IELTS score, the what else? The higher your educational degrees, the more educational like degrees you can add, the higher your score. Your age as well matters. I know above 30, then your what's it called? You start losing, I think, 5 points for age. So that's another thing. So now another way people can do it is that they wait when they're done with school, because you get points for actually being like schooling here in Canada. You get points. So you wait, you finish school, you get a job, you work. I think you have to work for a year first before you can be eligible for Canadian class. So you work for a year, then you create your profile, and then you apply for your PR. So that's what a lot of people do. So after school, they apply for their work permits, work for a year roughly, and then apply for their PR. So mine was the other way around, which was the PR first, and then when I finished school. So when I finished school, and the application process for me, it wasn't too tough because I had an experience from back home. It wasn't too tough. It was just getting the right hits. I'll say it was getting the right hits. Applying. So first of all, you have to know exactly what you want to work as. You can't just like start applying up and down the place. You have to know exactly, okay, what field do I want to go into? Where do I need to be working at? And then you start tailoring your CV to have that. So for me, so one thing I know for Canada for sure is that if you apply hard enough, you definitely get a job. So there's nothing like, oh, there's no work. Eventually, some people take like a longer time, but eventually you will get a job. So it took me how many months after school? 2 months. It took me 2 months after school. Um, And then it really took me, if I'm being honest, a month and a half of aggressive applications. Because after school, I was just like, doing nothing with my life. I'm resting. I'm doing nothing. So that's what I did for like a month. And then after that, and I aggressively started applying. So I'd already had my CV done by the career center. So I had my CV redone. I, of course, start adding more things. You start taking certifications, a lot of certifications. Start taking certifications. You start improving your LinkedIn profile. That's another thing. Because I know I got a lot of hate from LinkedIn. Like when your LinkedIn profile is nice and on point, then people people actually then reach out to you for job opportunities on LinkedIn, like, oh, we saw your profile and we think that you might want to apply for this role. And then, moving forward. So, but then there's Indeed, there's Glassdoor again, like I said. There's referrals. There are people who get referred like by their friends and stuff. There's referrals. And there's the LinkedIn reach out. People reach out to you on LinkedIn to say, oh, we think you'll be a great ad for like this particular role. So yeah, that's really one way. So there's nothing too different about applying for jobs here. You just really have to have the right CV, your CV properly done. You're right, applying to the right places, and then it's not like you're not applying for something that you don't qualify for. Basically, you're applying to the right places, applying to the right jobs, and then putting pressure. That's really how it is. Being intentional. That's another thing. Being intentional about your applications and just applying randomly. Being intentional about your applications, intentional about your LinkedIn profile. I know a lot of people say LinkedIn is not great, but for me it was great. I got a couple of reach outs on LinkedIn. So yeah.
So when you were talking about the PR thing, you said you went to a website and then you created your profile first, and then from the profile you created, it gave you a score, and your score was pretty good. So what website did you go to create your profile?
So okay, first of all, what I usually advise people to do is so if you go to the CIC, or if you Google CIC CRS calculator, CRS score calculator, right? I
Please,
can send you.
I know
Yeah,
that when we're done with this, you send us those
yeah, I
links.
will definitely send you the link. So when you start with that, then you can. What you do then is then you fill in studio, or like you simulate your information. You say, okay, maybe you haven't written your IELTS yet. You simulate, if I get a score of this for my writing, this for my reading, this for my that and that, and then this is my age, this is my this. Then it calculates roughly what your score, your points should be. Now, based on that, you then know, okay, do I need to improve on something? Can I improve on this? Can I add this? What do I need to do? So it's just like a simulation kind of thing to you get like a score good enough. So after that, then you can then go to the CIC website, create a profile, and then based on that profile, fill in your information. And then based on that, they tell you, based on your information you filled in, because you've already done your rough calculation. So you already know what your score should roughly be. So based on your thing you filled in, this is what your score is. And you have now joined the pool. So that what happens is that there's like a whole pool of several people with different scores, and then you get invited. So I'll send you the link to that eventually.
So you don't have to you cannot apply until you have taken the IELTS, or you can just apply
Yes.
and then be like,
No, you definitely must be taking IELTS. Or there's the one CELP, but you have to be here in Canada first for you to take CELP. So yeah.
oh, okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
So what is studying for the IELTS, this thing, what did you do? Were there tutorials you watched? How can you advise people how to study for that and do better and have a great score? Did you buy any book, and what is that book so you can recommend to people who are watching?
So for IELTS, I didn't buy any books or anything. So there are great resources on YouTube. I can definitely send a
Okay.
couple of links as well. There are great resources on YouTube. There there's a lot. Okay, another thing is I was able to get a book from my friend. Actually, it was like a practice book kind of thing. I can also forward that if you want.
Please, I need all
Yes.
of that.
So yeah, you can get that book. So it's not like the latest edition, but it's good enough to practice. But then you see those websites and links and YouTube resources. Those are really helpful. Those literally saved my life, especially when it comes to writing. Writing was my issue. I noticed with the other things that was great, but then with writing, with writing, especially if you're trying to apply for PR, you should be expecting to get anything above 7.0 for your writing, because obviously 7.0 gives you a higher score. It makes all the difference. I'm not kidding you. The difference between 6.5 writing and 7.0 on your CRS score it makes all the difference. It really does. So yeah, I'll send all the links. So basically, it's practice. It's practice. It's a lot of practicing. You practice. You write essays a lot. You start talking to yourself because you are practicing for your listening. You listen a lot to stuff you listen. So it's a lot of practice basically. So it took me 2 months roughly. I roughly practice for 2 months. Some people take it in a shorter time and they are great at it. You also have to set a target. What do I want to get really? For me, I was targeting 8.0 overall. My overall
for each of the sections or for everything?
no, for overall, I said my overall was 8.0. So I was targeting overall 8.0, everything above 7.0. So that's what I targeted. So when I was studying, I'm taking notes of things. I'm like, okay, this may not get me. So basically you have to have a target in mind as well. So a lot of practice, a lot of practice. If you have friends that you can share your writing with, but that's what I did as well. I shared my writing to my friends for them to grade. Okay, what do you think about what I wrote here? Give me your feedback on this. So that's another way.
So how many hours were you dedicating to studying in a day for the IELTS?
If you dedicate 2 hours really to studying, it doesn't, like, say for instance with the listening, you can actually be on your way maybe somewhere and you're listening and you're doing a practice, because you also have some phone apps that were actually useful. You can be on your way somewhere, you're actually practicing your listening. But then with the writing and some other stuff, roughly 2 hours a day was what I'll say I dedicated into studying. Yeah.
That is good. I'm glad that we discussed, these exams and how you can study, the duration and all that. I realized that when you're also talking about finding a job, you took some certifications. How many did you take and what certifications did you take? Because you're in IT. So what certifications did you take and did they play a role in landing a job?
So for me, I was a little about the place in my certification. So I took a CompTIA Plus, security. Sorry, not CompTIA Security Plus. Actually, I took that certification. I think I have to actually check. There was this SAP certification I also took. I took some IBM Enterprise Design Thinking certification, basically just to kind of keep my options open. That's one thing for me. So I had several resumes for several jobs basically. So there was a resume focused on if I ever wanted to fall back on my ERP, this thing from Nigeria, I had a resume for that. I had a resume for security. I had a resume for business analysts. I had just basically. So what I did was I took different certifications that kind of placed me anyway. Basically, I decided to fall into when I made up my mind. So yeah, so the IBM Design Enterprise Thinker was a good one. SAP one was a good one as well. CompTIA Security Plus, that's one of them I took. I'm looking to take ITIL in the next couple of months, in a month or two. That's another one. That's really helpful for project management and business analysis, if that's something people are also looking to go into. But yeah, ITIL is pretty interesting to have on your resume, depending on where you want to kind of go into. Yeah.
So what's your job now? What do you do right now as
Oh yeah, so after, when I say I'm all over the place, so after school I tried applying for security roles, and then I decided, okay, I think I want to be a business analyst now. So a technical business analyst. So that's what my role is. I'm a technical business analyst. So I currently work with like the IT team of like I would say a real estate. That's what they are, real estate investment organization. So we work basically with the IT team, the back end and the developers. So that's what I currently do. I'm a technical business analyst and data analyst, more or less. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm a little all over the place. I like to I like
Oh
to
my
say that.
goodness. That is a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. So we've actually said a lot in this video. This is almost over an hour, 30 minutes. I'm trying to see if we missed out on anything. Can you remember or do you think London?
I will actually have, no, I think roughly that's what we're about to, school transition, getting PR, getting a job. Yeah, that's
Yeah, pretty much we've done.
and then culture and just like
Yeah,
generally fitting in. Yeah.
yeah, we've done a lot, So, but I believe we said enough today. Then we can schedule another session some other time,
Mm-hmm.
or something else, But for now, I believe that we've actually dealt with like sharing your journey, finding a school in Canada, cost of living in Canada, landing a job, and even transitioning to the PR status. The two options are available. Either you do it while you're a student, or you wait until you graduate, work for 1 year, and then set up your profile, the courses that you have to take. It's just been like such an in-depth session with you, and I'm so amazed. I'm like, why haven't I done this like a lot sooner? No, what's really wrong? Why didn't we do this?
Why did you think of this earlier? I know. No.
Oh my God. So thank you so much, Demi, for giving me your time and impacting people, because I know people will learn a lot from this video. I don't think I'm going to be uploading it like one
Yeah.
because there's so many things that you discuss. I think I'm going to break it down so that it won't be too long for people not to just be tired, and again, because they're using their data, but then enough to cover a particular segment that was discussed in the video. And so when I see people who really like, oh, Valen, yes, I can do this, I'm like, thank you so much. So I'm so thankful. Thank you so much. And we can't wait to have you again. Like,
Thank
another
you.
time. So now that people have heard, what is your, goodbye message to everybody that's watching you right now?
Well, I'm just gonna say Canada is an interesting place to be at. It's a straightforward process. Well, it's not as straightforward, but one thing I keep telling my friends is that once you're here, you're here. There's no going back. We're not going anywhere. We're here. That's one thing for sure. So, I mean, I'm available for questions if people have questions and people want to, reach out to me.
Yeah. How can people reach out to you? My bad.
Oh yeah, so people can reach out to me at probably like, what's the best bet, to be honest? I'm quite lazy with my Instagram. So maybe my email. So I'll I will probably have my email and then maybe my Instagram handle. Like
Yeah. So I'll add
just
your
pass them
Instagram
on to
handle
you. Yeah.
somewhere here. So
So
people
yeah,
can reach
people
out
have
to you.
questions. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it was nice, talking, speaking. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
so much. Oh my God. Thank you. It was such a wonderful session. I can't wait for us to have another session some other times.